still love you, if I still love you. Hey, it's sizzling Saturday and Sunday, and welcome to Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. I'm your host, Gina A. Towns, and today we've got a very special show. We've got a lot going on in the world. It's been a long week, but we're going to take some time to reset today. I want to introduce to you a dear friend, actually, and somebody that many of you who are listening may know in the Los Angeles area. Buddy Lewis is a 35-year veteran in the entertainment business and a graduate from Howard University. He is credited with over 70 television and film appearances on IMDb. This includes 5 appearances on BET's Comic View, 2 on HBO's Def Comedy Jam, and Martin Lawrence's Amendment. He appeared as an actor, and he has been on so many sitcoms. I want to introduce to you, and please welcome Buddy Lewis.
Gina A. Towns. What's up, beautiful?
Hey, Lewis, what's really going on? Happy sizzling Saturday and Sunday, welcome to the weekend.
Yeah, it's sizzling out here in LA. It's hot.
Is it really? Well, I'm so glad. You know, I could not wait to talk to you because I wanted to see what was really going on. I know, we have so many issues that have been plaguing the Los Angeles area and around the country. We keep LA in our prayers, just like we do New York. We've got the situation in Altadena, the fires that occurred, and we talk a lot about that here at KBLA and wanting to get justice. So I think that is really the word of the day, of our generation in some ways. So tell me, buddy, what's going on? Give us an update.
I think one of the biggest things is the mayoral race just happened, and the influx of goofy folk trying to really trying to make some hay out of Karen Bass's winning, and there was another opponent of hers who were Democrats, and so a lot of the goofy folk want to come in and try to say that there was some type of voter fraud. I'm like, man, ain't nobody voting for no reality show star that's a Republican that ain't gonna win like that in LA. It's not gonna happen anymore. And people are a little bit more savvy out here with their voting, but the the whole issue of voter rights across the country is being affected by this clown we got in the White House, and him dismantling the Voter Rights Act. And so this Supreme Court is very, very antithetical to Black folk in general. So that's the big thing. I think also the issue with immigration has affected everybody here in the LA area. I think, as you find that a lot of our Latino and immigrant families are being stressed, and it's Haitians, it's a whole group of immigrant people that now are in fear, driving, going to work. If you like my daughter, and I'm not trying to be, man, you can't even find hardworking folk to help you move furniture and stuff out in front of Home Depot. That's a problem. You got to pay premium price for real movers. It's just on and on and on. Service has gotten bad because you don't have as many hosts and people that do service. So it's affecting the price of everything is going up. So those are the main issues happening out here in LA. And I don't even want to get into the bad beach water and that's
what?
Oh, the water out here is terrible, man. Sometimes they have swimming junk and bacteria and everything in the water, so you can't even go to the beach. So yes,
a lot of people have experienced something like that if you live near a waterway at one point or another.
Right. So it's a few things happening out here in LA, and I think like you mentioned earlier, a lot of folks are recovering from the fires, not just the ones in Malibu and Beverly Hills, but the ones in Altadena, which really affected a lot of African American people. Some of my friends, one of my good friends, I just saw at a wedding, we were discussing her, and she was really happy that they had started doing. She had gotten the majority and the framework of her house redone. So I was really happy to hear that she was getting things in order, because her house was the spot we all went to. All the Howard folk went to at Christmas. She had the greatest Christmas party. So Mr. Tan. So we're happy that they're getting themselves together.
You bring up a good point, and part of the reason why reflectivity exists beyond black and white, because everything is not a black and white issue. And then we have to be reflective on what has transpired and the activity that we see from it. But the word reflectivity in and of itself is that I can be resilient, that through that struggle, through that trial, I actually can shine a light. I learned something and maybe even help the next person through it. And so you bring up your friend and what she was going through. And so that's why we take a moment on the weekends to reset, because sometimes we have just gone through so much. I mean, what was she communicating as she was going through trying to get it fixed?
Well, and she's not the only one. I mean, I have I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, OMU chapter in the Valley Qs.
Okay, now you let us go to this break, commercial break. We'll pick it up right back there when we come forward. This is Gina Townsend on KBLA Talk 1580.
Echo through the empty halls. Silent cries from the past, each one calls through the storm.
I'm Gina A. Towns, and welcome to Reflectivity Beyond Black or White. We are in the middle of resetting our weekend. This is a sizzling Saturday and Sunday, so hopefully you're getting all the things you need to get done, but I hope that you will take the opportunity to just sit back and reflect on your week and how we could have done some things differently, how we can do them better, things that went well. And I have just the person every now and then you've got to get in a laugh. I want to welcome to the show, Buddy Lewis. Buddy Lewis is Buddy is a comedian, and he is based in Los Angeles, California. If you have not seen him before, you definitely want to check him out on social media and on his website. And we certainly will get to how we can keep in contact with you, Buddy. But, in the last segment, we did have some, you did a great job of recapping all that people can get, our tidbits of news that we can get while we're trying to work, and all the details we sometimes don't get. But it's so much happening right now. I remember my younger daughter told me, she says, "Mom, I want you to laugh." I said, well, I think I laugh. She says, "I want you to laugh every 14 seconds. And I said, well, why do you want to do that? She says, she says, "I want you to laugh every hour, because laughing every hour can add 14 seconds to your life. And if you accumulate that over a period of time, you'll live a long time." And so, when we think about laughter and we think about what it is to be comedic, I mean, there's serious comedy and satire in the midst of the things that are going on. But then there's something to be said for just having a good laugh. But I mean, what is there to really laugh about right now? Well, there's your 14 seconds.
Hey man, if you can make it through this mess that's going on in this country right now, you gotta laugh, man. That's the only way to really, really reset your mind. I think sometimes is I need to laugh. I laugh about everything. I laugh about stuff that's probably not probably not funny, because I don't know if you remember. When my sister passed away, me and my sister were in the front row. We were laughing at my sister's funeral. The singer was he was more than horrible, and my sister was Gina. We were like, "Why didn't you sing?" We were laughing. Man, this dude was so terrible, and he had on this bad wig and an ugly suit, and he was singing at my sister's wedding. My sister's funeral, and me and my sister would look at each other. Cookie she's ready to get up out of that coffin and tell us you to shut up. Now, I'm the kind of person that I think that's my life. I've been silly. I've been silly since we were kids, and so.
Are you funny to yourself?
Yeah, I since I was a kid. I'm not gonna put you in this, Gene, but I've been silly. I was a class clown, and I just started. As a matter of fact, just got back from my reunion at Westside High School, all class reunion, and I performed there. And you just got to find a way to laugh at some of this stuff. You got to find.
Did people think you were funny?
Yeah, I think they thought I was funny. At least that's what they told me. So
but there's a difference between people who are funny to themselves and people who are funny to other people.
Oh, that's true. I agree, and I think a lot of times I'm gonna go ahead and admit it. I'm funny.
Well, you've been doing it for 35 years and haven't had to leave Los Angeles.
I ain't got kicked out yet.
I think you're doing okay. Absolutely. When did you first know that you were funny?
Oh man, that is a great question. I knew I was. I as I look back at it, I was kind of one of those precocious kids that kind of ran his mouth. And when I was little, I was, and I would sometimes speak truth to power. That like, why that man? I'm the kind of kid that why that man head so big. What and I remember like this true story. Let me tell you this true story. So we had the Jews for Jesus came to my church, St. John's Lutheran in Gary, Indiana, and I went and grabbed what I thought was a donut off the table. And I came to my mother, and she's like, I was like, man, these donuts are stale. My mother's like, boy, that's a bagel. Get your little ignorant self away from. So I've been, I've had moments all my life. I can go back through moments where I've had silly, things that have made me, I feel comically inclined. I've had those moments. I was the 3-time most humorous at Westside High School. So I've been silly, funny my entire life, and that's how I think I got through things. I had 2 sisters and a mama. There's a lot of estrogen in my house, so I had to laugh. I had to laugh and stuff. So I think, and as a middle child, I didn't get the baby love or the oldest thing, so I had to fight for attention, and I think I dealt with that with humor.
Wow. That you just put a lot of things into perspective, I think, maybe for a lot of middle children. When did you get in trouble for being funny, being silly, in one of your comedic moments? What's one of the most memorable moments when it was funny, not funny?
Oh man, I got several of those, man. There was I had a teacher that they'd always poke fun at me, right? And this is something my classmates reminded me of. I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. Remember when you had overhead projectors? For a lot of the Gen X folk won't know what I'm talking about, but there was this thing called the overhead projector, and they would put these little sheets of clear paper on the thing, and it would project onto the screen. And one time a fly flew on the overhead projector, and I shouted out, "Hey, yo, Mr. Irwin, get your kids off the screen!"
Oh, wow.
Of course, I got put out of class, but my father worked at the school, so he kind of got me out of that. But my father, one of the first times I can recall my father really sticking up for me, he was like, "Nah, y'all be messing with him when you come in class, so leave him alone." I only got expelled once from school, suspended. What? Yeah, I got it. What's when you go home for the day? Is that expelled?
Oh, you got sent home for the day.
We were playing football over at Holy Angels. We were playing football on the playground, and I ran into a nun. So I got I knocked this nun down, Sister Barbara. I knocked her down. Everybody wanted to congratulate me for doing it because they didn't like her because she was mean. But that inevitably got me suspended from school for a couple of days. I knocked her ass down good. I didn't see her. She, you can't be walking across in the middle of the football field and, running into people's pass patterns. She got knocked down. It was, that's what's going to happen when she was, doing her Karen moment, not paying her little Christian Karen moment, walking through the football field while we playing, and she got knocked down.
Let me tell you where I'm going with some of this questioning, because children are so free-spirited, and we grow up. Sometimes we lose that free-spiritedness because people put constraints on us. We get labeled. What's your thought about all the labels that go on, and what's your best advice for people to shed labels while at the same time trying to continue to grow and become?
I think there's a fine line between allowing freedom and then being unconcerned about letting a child just run wild. Children need a little discipline, and I think there's nothing wrong with adding parameters and limits to a child's development. I'm not saying stifle, but what I'm saying is you gotta find some parameters, because if you run wild, sometimes you end up with you end up with school shooters, and there's times when you compress and you control somebody, and you end up with school shooters. So you got to find a way to try and allow a child to develop. And I think part of that is giving children information, giving children a chance to see the world, see things, introduce them to books and be creative and use their imagination. You have to allow a child to develop. And I think you also have to also put parameters. Hey man, you can read your book. I don't want to stop you from reading a book, but it's time to go to sleep. You know,
how about we can read a book?
Yeah, you can read a book. Yeah, okay. Now, hey, you can't read that book yet.
I hear it's getting to be a lost art. Reading a book.
Yeah,
and I don't dislike any of the, necessarily the progress that we make, but it's, you can. I remember that my daughter said something very profound. My middle. Mm-hmm. We were talking to her grandmother about something at one point, and she says, Grandma, she says, God has given us hearts big enough to love one without letting go of the other. Mm. And so, when I think about, what it is to, thumb through TikTok, to watch Netflix, I like the Cliff Notes of everything, but there is still something to be said for, reading a book. And I like this because I think for those who are listening, who are still raising your kids, finding that delicate balance and even finding our own still, I don't think you stop finding a delicate balance. What do you think about that? I mean,
you just can't run wild and free and say and do everything without some. You got to have a filter sometimes. There has to be even as a comic, people go, well, you're free to say everything. No, I know there are parameters and their limits, and you have to be able to find that within yourself. Hey man, how far am I going to go? What am I going to say? What am I going to believe? What am I going to research and find out the information for? So I think we do have to keep a watchful, mindful eye on our own parameters and our own limits. We got to do that. But I try to be as forthright as I can with tempering. You just can't talk crazy to the police.
I hear you slick. I'm gonna say what I have to say, but I'm gonna slide in this little joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my. I'm gonna try to ease this in here without it. It's like I tell people all the time. People say there is nothing positive that comes after this phrase. Let me keep it real with you. I want to keep it real with you. Whenever you say that, there's never anything positive that's coming after that. That's the filter for saying, give me a sec. I'm about to say some rude stuff to you. I'm about to say something disrespectful. But we all temper and we all make parameters and we all try to be free to say what we want to say, but say it in a way that's palatable for the people you're talking to.
Absolutely. I as I was raising, kids, I said, it's not necessarily what you say. You can say and express yourself. Most things you can express yourself. And if you're not sure, you probably do need to ask an adult or, somebody a little further along the way, what do you think about this? But for the most part, you can ask questions. It is how you ask it, how you say it. I think that's, a great lesson to take along in life, period. But there does come a point, I think, for, older people when that barometer, I don't know if the mercury in it just stops working or if there is no gas left in that tank. But when we come forward, I do have a couple of more questions along this line. I thank you for this conversation, and I think it's helpful for us as we consider how we're going to approach what we went through last week and these couple of little days that we have here to wrap it all up and move into another week. I'll be right back after this commercial break. It's Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's not always the way that we think it should be.
Echo through the empty halls. Silent cries from the past. Each one calls. Through the storm, we rise and break free.
Welcome forward to Sizzling Saturday and Sunday. This is Reflectivity Beyond Black and White, and I am your host, Gina A. Towns. Welcome to the weekend, and I hope that you are having a great one. Our host, our guest right now is Buddy Lewis, stationed in Los Angeles, been in comedy for 35 years. Welcome forward to the show, Buddy.
Here, how you doing, Gina? You know, you have the smoothest voice. Your voice is like Godiva chocolate, girl. Because people from Gary sometimes when they get Irish, they start talking like this. It's the smoke and the.
Everybody talking like Fred Williamson the Hammer.
Yeah, everybody sounds like Fred the Hammer. Yeah. Hey, young buck, you need to get yourself the.
Janet Jackson has one of the sweetest voices ever. So,
yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me,
Buddy. So before we went to our break, we were just talking about comedy and knowing the limits of comedy. What is your take on what I will call the government restraint on nighttime comedy?
That is a interesting thing because there are a lot of comics that have interesting takes on government. They have and on politics, on current events. That comics all have their own take, and that is what people come to see comics, to hear their perspective and on something particular. I think it's shameful that people are becoming so thin-skinned that they can't take jokes. They think everything is offensive to somebody, and at the crux of comedy, sometimes you're poking fun at what you see, you're poking fun at what you heard, you're poking fun at what you think is that situation. That is what comedy is. I think one of the most recent issues was the roast Kevin Hart had on Netflix, and I think it was not necessarily as much as the attention was about the material or the joke. It was also the response to it. I think I feel this way, and I felt this way too, is that the joke was offensive, and you can say, hey man, I found it offensive, blah blah blah, I think you can say that without retribution and feel like, hey man, I can tell you how I felt about a particular issue. I can say, hey man, I found it offensive, and but they're entitled to say what they want to say, and I wish it hadn't been done. That is the way I think it should have been approached. I I am against censorship of comics. I as a comic myself, I don't feel like it's proper to censor people's takes on the government, the politics, the whatever. You should be able to be free to say it, but know that there are consequences. If you're gonna take that route and take that turn, know that there are consequences, because there are things and communities, there are subjects, there are people that I, as an African American comic, there's some things I'm not going to joke about that. I'm not going there. And you got to decide if that's going to be your lane, and how you're going to deal with the fallout and the consequences that come from you saying, I'm free to say what I want to say. Okay, go ahead. Deal with the consequences.
You bring up, that is a very powerful point that you're bringing up, because I think people do feel some kind of way, about the censorship. And at the same time, there is something to be said that once you put yourself on a public stage, and you start, I'll use the word, tinkering around in people's lives. That you open yourself to a particular satiric comedy, and it's generally critical sometimes, but I do think that people enjoy it. This label thing, I want to go back to that. I don't want to leave that just yet, because that's how we separate ourselves. One person has a particular label, they label the other people in a particular label, and then if you're a comic, the comedy that you're listening to, your comedian fits into your label, and is speaking to the other label, in a particular way. Everybody's all upset, and I think that's what we've gotten to. And so there is also something to be said about what we talked about in the last segment, for saying things. You could say almost anything, how you say it. I think comedians have that gift to be able to say those things, and then allowing people to have some freedom. I think that, the what I've been reflecting on a little bit is that the White House press dinner, when President Obama was president, and Donald Trump, who was not president at the time, was sitting in the audience, and really took some offense to the comedian who was at that dinner. And if I can remember correctly, even President Obama, who is funny sometimes.
Yeah, Barack Obama's got great timing. He's a politician with the ease of being able to deliver comedic and have comedic timing.
And I will say, I saw George W. do that a couple of times. So just, so that we're all fair here, equal opportunity for comedy, and getting your 14 seconds in so that you live longer. The whole idea of censorship, particularly in our country, it's really just boils down to, if you don't like it, you can get up and leave. You can turn the channel. That's what freedom really is. Buddy, what freedoms do you see that, in addition to what we're talking about? You have grown up in a time frame and in a period where you've been free to be you. What is the most significant threat that you see facing Black people? Let's start with that. Facing Black people, and then I want you to tell me what you see as the most significant threat against Americans.
I think the threat to Black people is, number one, this administration has, I think, is trying to put the best way I can call it is this trying to hinder black history, trying to determine that our history and our contributions are insignificant or not important or need to be changed. And this issue that we want to make white folks feel more comfortable about the past. The past isn't comfortable.
Mm.
Our history is not, our history in this country isn't always nice and friendly and kind. And so we come from I come from Gary, Indiana, where there was segregation all around town. There were sundown towns in Gary. Around Gary. We know there were some places we couldn't go.
More when we come forward about, well, you said sundown towns. I'm Gina A. Towns. You're listening to Reflectivity Beyond Black or White on KBLA Talk 1580. We'll see you when we come forward.
Promises shattered, no peace to keep. Voices echo through the empty halls. Silent cries from the past, each one calls. Through the storm, we rise and break free. Searching for light in the scars we see. With every heartbeat, we reclaim our faith.
And welcome forward to Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It is Sizzling Saturday and Sunday. I'm your host, Gina A. Towns, and today we have Buddy Lewis. He is a local, national, international comedian, and it has been all over the world. Welcome forward to the show, Buddy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I gotta tell people you're based in LA, though. The city of angels, Hollywood, and fancy cars.
Yeah, there you go. For sure. For sure. That's it.
Yeah, before we went to this break, we're in our last segment. I really do want to get to the issue of what you were talking about and the significant threat that is upon us as a nation because we are divided. Hence the title of the show, Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's not just issues that are black and white and we settle them somewhere in the middle. We try to negotiate. It is also that the country has become very divided once again, black and white. And then you throw in red, yellow, and brown. Tell me a little bit more.
As I was saying, you asked me what are the issues facing or I find most pressing with the Black community. And I think one of the things is cognitive dissonance and delusion is a problem with when it comes to not just Black people, it's the people, the white folk that in this country are deluded and they have this cognitive dissonance about Black history, Black people, Black things, and so a lot of times things come down to, I laugh because we, a lot of folks always ask in school, why is everything about race? Well, because it kind of is. Everything boils down to three things, man, in this country. It's race, money, and sex. Those are the three things that can ruin and are at the base of every issue. And so I think one thing we got to do and one thing we must do is stop running from the past. And I think that's what Black people have a problem with, is that many people want to, and it's not just white folks, it's our own people have this delusion that we shouldn't discuss the past because it's going to make people feel bad, or it's going to make, you got to understand the past to get to the future. And if you don't even agree, if we can't even agree that certain things happen, or certain things are true, or certain things are were done, then you're living in a deluded situation where you believe that I don't believe any of that stuff. And so you can't, so that means you can't have empathy. You can't have a sympathy for something you don't even believe is true. And I think so moving forward, I think we have to find a way where we can get outside of our comfort zones, and also understand that there's a way to look at your situation and my situation and make it make sense. Like some things aren't about race, because I disagree with young girls wearing bonnets and dudes wearing bonnets to the airport, and dudes wearing do-rags to church, don't mean that's oh man, you hurting my blackness. No, that just there's certain things that just I'm not cool with.
Yeah, so a whole nother show for me.
Yeah,
I can spend some time with that.
There's a time for that, and there's a thing for that. And so I think we can't look at everything as like I tell this joke about how sometimes even Black folks have disillusion. It's like you see it when you go to court. You had these Black moms telling my baby he never did nothing. He never did racist the way the police. No, your baby is called trigger finger. Everybody knows your baby is ruthless. Don't be talking about this a Black thing. That's not a Black thing. That's your ignorant ass son. Don't be coming in with that mess. So I think we all got to find a way to. I think we all got to find a way to get past the foolishness and deal with the real.
So one of the things that I really want to accomplish on this show every week or weekend, I want to be able to reflect on the week and how could I have been more patient? How could I have been more kind? When did I lose my temper? When was I not a good example? When did I not express myself as best that I could? Just really taking stock. Buddy, for you, what is your recommendation about how we can begin to, one, heal some of the things that you're talking about, and helping each one of us to recognize that it starts with me. I have to go ahead and call Michael Jackson on Out Man in the Mirror. If we can be reflective, looking in that mirror and starting with ourselves, what is the best way? What tool do you use? What map do you use? What directional system do you use? Is it a relationship? Is it your friends? Is it, reflecting on how you've been raised? Is it the Bible? Is it the Quran? I mean, like, what do you do? What is your go-to and something that we can help our listening audience to be reflective, get beyond black and white, and make it a sizzling Saturday and Sunday each week?
For me, I actually have the stage to air out my I have the comedic stage to go on and air my grievance and my anxieties and talk about it and try to bring it and make it comedic. That's the thing for me. I think every now and then I will take a drive down to the beach. I think sometimes you need to, and I also play golf. So I'm outside, and I find that being outside, being connected to the land, the sea, the trees and the grass, being connected to that sometimes and getting in there helps me kind of figure things out, and it takes me out of the rat race. So I think if it's not a beach and listening to the waves, I think it's it's go somewhere quiet and get in your thoughts, get that energy off of you. Cause there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of tension, and sometimes you just need to disconnect from looking at the social media and the news and man, go listen to some soft music, I've got this thing on my phone now where I listen to the sound. It's just like, I'm trying to get the right frequency. I'm trying to tune into the right frequency. Find you something that's going to allow you to sort of disconnect from the anger, the tension, the vitriol that's in the world. You got to find a place where you can be quiet and do this. You got to hear God. You got to hear him and it's that inner voice that just says, "Hey man, chill. It's going to be all right. And you can make it through this."
Well, buddy, we're coming to the end of our time.
No, we can't be over already.
But we're going to choose reflectivity because it is black or white. Buddy Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. When we come forward next week on Sizzling Saturday and Sunday, we will be facing truth, working it out, and doing it together. I'm your host, Gina A. Towns, KBLA Talk 1580. Thanks, buddy.